my name's Cheryl Hazelton, and this is Kai. Welcome to Memphis, Tennessee. I love sculpting with wood. I like to make artistic and contemporary furniture. Today I'm going to be making this mahogany wine vine rack. It's time to head to my wood shop and get to work. This is my workshop where I work with all types of wood. Today I'll be working with mahogany. First I'll have to rough cut it. I'll be using my table saw to cut my mahogany down to make legs. Sometimes when I'm cutting wood, I have tension in the wood and it pinches on the blade. So I put a little wedge of wood in the end to hold it so it doesn't pinch on it. My legs are cut. Now I'm going to take them over to the joiner so that I can get some flat surfaces and squared edges. Now that my legs are nice and smooth, I'm going to take them to the planer to be able to bring them down to the proper thickness. Now that my legs are looking good, I'm going to take them to the table saw again and cut grooves in them so I can slide my panels into them later. I'm going to be cutting grooves into two sides of the leg because the panels will create a square. And I don't cut all the way through to the bottom of the legs because the panels will only go down to this point right here. Now that I have all the grooves cut for my panels, I'm just going to take my chisel and clean out the bottom areas so that the panels can slide all the way down. My legs are all cut. So I'm going to take maple now, and I'm going to make my panels. The first thing I'm going to do is take them to the table saw and cut the edges on each one in order to make them fit into the groove of the legs. I've finished cutting all the grooves on all four edges of my panel on both sides. Now it's time to draw the design out. I've already prepared a template to be able to trace my design onto my panels to know where I'm going to cut out areas and where I'm going to be cutting grooves to denote my binds. I've traced out all the places where I'm going to have holes. Now I'm going to freehand the design to show where I'm going to put all the binds. X marks the spot. These are the parts that I'm going to be cutting out. First I'll be drilling a hole, and then I'll be using a jigsaw to cut out the pattern. I placed my table sled on top of my table saw in order to give me a little leverage on cutting my pieces. I started working with wood when I was in college. I made a lot of sculptures, and I really liked the flexibility and the smell of the wood, and I've been doing it ever since. I've drilled a hole in each area that is supposed to be cut out. So next I'm going to go ahead and take my jigsaw and cut around my design that I've drawn on the panel. I started making furniture when I bought my first house, and I realized I couldn't find any furniture that I liked, so I decided to go ahead and make it myself. Now with the last hole cut, I'm going to go ahead and use my palm router and a straight bit and clean out all of the areas that I've cut and smooth them. I've smoothed out all the holes, and I've also taken a roundover bit and created a softer edge on all of the holes. Now I'm going to be using a veining bit, which is a small pointed bit, to trace over the lines on my panel and create my binds. I've completed routing my veins on my panel, and I've also done the same process on 3 other panels. I have a front and a back, and I also have 2 side panels. I've also prepared some rails out of mahogany to frame out the top and bottom of my panels between the legs. And I've also gone ahead and used more mahogany to create my top. It looks like I have all the pieces that I need, so now I'm ready to assemble. I'm going to go ahead and assemble everything with wood glue, with clamps, and with mad woodworking skills. I've gotten everything assembled. I'm going to leave it clamped up for the glue to dry for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to attach my top. The glue is dried and I've removed my clamps. Now I'm going to go ahead and paint my binds in with various fall colors of acrylic paints. I typically use the acrylic paint straight out of the bottle and mix the colors on the palette when I'm painting. I like acrylic paint because it's non-toxic and the colors are really vibrant. I want to use paint on the panels to create a lot of different vibrant color contrasts, but then I also leave the mahogany natural because it's just a beautiful wood to use. I'm going to go back in between each of the areas that I've painted and put in some nice dark brown in order to create some definition and to create some depth within my vines. I've finished painting all my panels, and now that they're dry, I've gone ahead and attached the top with some wood screws and put a light coat of polyurethane on all of the natural mahogany. My wine vine rack is complete. Isn't it divine?